Hello and welcome to another coaching review, and in this one we have a silver Udyr versus a silver Warwick. The Udyr here getting leashed on the bottom side, the Warwick also getting leashed on the bottom side. The Udyr a little late to his spawn here, playing too much with the Lux in the river, but that's fine. We've got here a farming style jungler against a more rotation fighter, ganky style jungler, except you'll notice Udyr is going with Hail of Blades. He's going to go the AD focus build. So what this allows in terms of low elo play is, hey, enemy team, they're always going to team fight. My team always going to team fight. I need to leverage a bit of macro control in order to win these games and carry in this elo to get to gold. So we're going to look at how that kind of comes together in one package for both these junglers. They're on their full clears. We're going to be watching this one, and I said full clears because even when they're playing ganking junglers in low elo, they're typically still full clearing even though they shouldn't be. So this is a 2 minute 30 cross timer for the Udyr, not perfect. Warwick way slower and decides, hey, we've got here a Yone pushing the wave. Lux is hit level 3. Maybe I can go ahead and gank this. In principle, I like these kinds of actions, but Yone obviously has his Q dash. He has his flash. There we go. And the Fear just gets procced. He just turns back in. He shouldn't. Now he's taking free damage, and again, he shouldn't. And you might think, hey, I'm going for a good gank here, but all you're doing is inting your lane. And if you want to understand how to apply these champions and information to your own game, I have a free jungle improvement resource as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries that has weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's converting junglers to gold, to emerald, to diamond, to master plus. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle diff every game you play, click the link below or head to virkayu.gg. Right, so when you look at this from a coaching perspective, it's like, okay, I decided to cut my blue side quadrant into the gank in the mid lane. A lot of you are thinking about that. Hey, what if I do my red side quadrant and gank mid lane? Do my red side quadrant and gank bottom lane? That's all well and good, but you've got to know when to pull the plug on a gank. A Yone, in the first case, is not really something you want to gank straight, especially when there's a cannon wave pushing the Lux and she's already HP compromised. Now you're chasing him into his minion wave here, and now you're losing a lot of HP as well. You're going to take a turret shot. He has Ignite Up, he has Flash Up, and at any point the Udyr could decide, the enemy jungler could decide to rotate. Now most likely they won't in these particular cases because they can see, okay, the Yone is going to turn this around, and guess what, like he doesn't even have to use his Ignite. You just give him a free kill and a blue buff. So, step one, I'm going to leave links below to all sort of topics that you might need throughout this entire video, and it's basically talking about how your ganking recognition needs to become significantly better because the idea is still good, right? Or, look at the idea. Pushing mid lane, I can finish my quadrant and do a gank because I'm level 3 and the enemy jungler is going to full clear and I cannot match them. Yes, your logic is sound. But is this the lane where you actually want to do that? And if it isn't, then which lane did you want to gank? Probably the Thresh lane with a Twitch or the Kale. So then you should structure a clear that allows you to get to that. Warwick comes straight out of base here, goes straight once more for this Yone. The Udyr has done his full clear and taken the Scuttle Crab, which is absolutely fine. We like that baseline. Now he gets stunned. Good rotation by the Udyr. We'll take another kill off. Udyr doing exactly what I recommend people do in this particular MMR range, which is track the enemy jungler, watch their randomness, laugh at their mistakes, and keep your foundation core simple and good, right? And by those weird words, I mean core full clear, right? Simple. That you don't have to adjust it unless something really obvious happens, like a 3v3 with everyone's 1 HP, then yes, go ahead, you know what I mean? But we do a full clear, we take the Scuttle Crab, then we look up, can we go and gank somewhere? Where's the enemy jungler? And you react to it. Nice and simple, yes? Now, because we know that Warwick went mid lane with 12 CS and a blue buff, we know that he hasn't done his red side. And then he died and came out of base again and went to this. Lux turned it around and went ahead and ganked again and died again. So Udyr decided to go for the Raptors. This is where we disagree. I think in this particular case, you should obviously have a faster full clear than he did, but the fact that he had a good full clear is great. You come out of the jungle, you snack this up, you see that Warwick for some reason goes straight back to this gank. You know, he dies, you rotate, that's cool. Let's go and take his red. Immediately take his red, because in low elo, typically they're very, very obsessed with red buffs. Very, very obsessed. And the Warwick comes out of base, you're thinking he might be able to get the Yone. Yone dies, so he turns up to the red. Now, if he went for the Raptors first, which he might do, you don't know that, you're still compromising him entirely, because you can easily take this, and if top lane is gankable, and it is gankable, right? A Kale isn't an ungankable lane. It's not an obvious gank for you, but it's something you can do, especially if you're strong enough early to take on the Volibear. So you have to decide, can I 2v1 this lane? And you take this, and off you go. Now, what I would like to do after this is, if this isn't gankable for whatever reason, You can always look to double scuttle the guy, but again, I don't really like doing that. What I would do is, and why I keep this ward, and I like that he placed this ward here. This is all good stuff. I would take the red, ward here, take this, go to the Krugs, drag them left. You will see the Warwick if he goes to this, into this, if he goes into this, if he comes down here and goes here, you will see everything he's doing. So if you can immediately after the game go straight for this and drag into the Krugs, you might be able to get both. It is greedy, but I kind of like it a little bit. However, if you want to play it safer, just do the red, go back to base, gank your bottom lane, take the Scuttle Crab. While he's up here, go ahead and take this. And you would see him on the ward. So the Warwick is able to actually get the red, but the Udyr's now like, well, I'll stand still and fight you. Warwick's like, I'll stand still and fight you. And they just, that's a silver mechanics thing. You don't really need to think about anything. And now we're going to go ahead and take these Krugs. Watch the minions here. You don't want to be spotted by the minions. Drag it left. Very good. Good job there, Toasty Maker. Definitely another way to go about it, right? This way we get this one, we almost get this one, and we get this one. But that means Warwick is going to be coming down to the bottom side, and you have to pay attention to the Volibear on the top side for his rotation. Now, Warwick doesn't use the outside in rule, which means taking something further away from you first, and then falling back to your camps. So here he could leave the base and go to the Scuttle Crab, and then fall back to these. Huge, right? And in this particular case, huge in a better way, because if he gets to go for the outside rule and take this, and then you see the Udyr gank this, guess what you can do now? You can go ahead and take his Raptors, his Krugs. Maybe you can gank the bottom lane as well. You can gank the bottom lane first, read and react appropriately, and then you can fall back into your jungle thereafter. Udyr comes out of base and goes, oh, and he lost all his stuff. Now, though, the Udyr does what I say. Well, does what I said earlier. Hey, I've got a great ganking angle. He's not, exactly pronounced on it, but it's like, hey, maybe we can put a flash. The Volibear could turn and do something, which of course he does here, hitting that E, but it is still... Careful the W2, oh, good job. Very good. I wasn't worried for a second. Now I knew he would make it. Yeah, you see the Q max here is very, very strong in this regard. The W Awaken is of course very strong also in those kind of fights. Q Awaken as well, just absolutely the same percentage of HP. Still, even after the nerfs. However, Volibear's W2 is a big mega chop now, and there's a lot of percentage HP on his E, so you don't want to stand still with the Volibear, so... Definitely a problem with this Udyr. We're standing still fighting champions that like to stand still, but with this build, you also like to stand still, so it's fine. Now, the Warwick in this particular case has died 3 times. This is just straight up meeting, horrific game planning, bad pathing, has done these things, and now goes out to this. The Udyr should be showing up here with nothing available. This should all be gone. He should have come out of base, gone for the Scuttle Crab, seen him here, said thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe I can rotate to this and help my bottom lane. Maybe I can kill the Twitch, right? Because you saw that trade, right? You saw that 2v2. 2v2 was very, very close. Sorry, rushing through words there because we're going mid lane. We're going to do the chomp E fear. But what do you expect to do against a Yone who's level 6? Well, you're level 4 with boots. Boots. Don't buy boots. Buy something combat. Something that helps you clear. Something that helps you be tanky. Nice rotation from the Udyr. I like this. I like this a lot. You see this? He takes this. He sees it. He sees the cow moving with him. He moves with him. And he says, hey, look, can I take these as well? Again, I'll just take these again. Deny you some counter jungling. Udyr enables this sort of playstyle so well. And we're 2 levels up. We're 4-0-0. We had a great reactive gank to kill the Warwick again. Randomness? Fine, we'll punish it. We invaded him thereafter to take his camps and kill him because we knew we tracked his CS and we knew he was going to be there. Then what happened is we decided to gank on the top lane and take that gank. Warwick, because he's silver, didn't punish us accordingly, which he should have. And then we collapsed upon him and killed him again. We'll wait for these and take these. I'm okay with this. You know why? Because this Warwick has shown himself to not be a studier of the counter-jungling art of war. He only focuses on... Well, I don't really know what he focuses on, but it's definitely something... It's involving a brick wall and a feather. You get my meaning. We look for this, we see this. Maybe we could have gone to this as well. I think this is huge. The Volibear didn't waste his flash there. They're going to take this. That's fine. I don't worry too much about this. There's no reason to worry. See, I don't know what we're doing necessarily here. You're in control. You're in such good control. Take this, at worst, right, cut into counter gank this, and you could also just protect your camps afterwards. Best scenario is the guy goes backwards after doing the dragon, and so you can loop back and maybe take this. You see? That's kind of what we want to go for here. But I think in this case, you can easily just sequence down, protect everything, go back to base, and then go straight for Herald afterwards. Now we're kind of shadowing a little too much. We skipped over the top side quadrant. We see this occurring. We're not rotating too or worry too much about a red. Warwick shows up here. Cow dies. But hey, if you saw them on the dragon and you knew this was a possibility, let it happen, man. Let it happen. You've done this, you've done this. You see this mid lane, you go to hold the mid lane wave now. You just hold it, deny plate. Cool. Obviously don't die to a thresh hook and things like that, but, you know, play it smart, and you should be in a good position. Now we watch the Warwick here. See, we're just doing red into Raptors, giving away free plates when we could have protected this, held this, and, well, we tried the Awakened R. It didn't really do much, did it? So, there you go. Now we're going to go back to the top side. So, the first time in this game, the Udyr does weird, wacky power thing. Unlucky, because you're total control and domination. The Scuttle Crab is spawning now, and what are we doing? We're wolves. We're letting this Warwick get away with freebies. And I hate it when we let enemy junglers get away with freebies. The big thing we talk about in the courses and in the coachings all the time in the private Discord. Why aren't you continuing to jungle deny? Why aren't you continuing to keep that pressure on? Why are you giving them anything for free? Because this guy does not deserve anything for free, I can tell you that much. He is free. Very, very free indeed. Now the Udyr, in this particular case, you can say, well, he's sequenced, yes. Yeah, but let me draw a diagram for you with my mouse. Yeah, no cams. Yes, okay. All right, I'm gonna do this. What is with this, right? We've been out a while now too, because we kind of came out of the base here and did all of this, right? So it's one big loop of the map. You had the opportunity to control 3 quadrants. 3 quadrants. Or like this, depending where you're from. So, take all of this again, protect all of this again, gank this if you need to, otherwise back to base straight for the Herald now. If the Warwick shows up somewhere else, you can invade this again, and then you can drop it and snowball your KO by killing the Volibear here, which is amazing, right? So that's where I think this game is. This is where you see a silver jungler isn't quite gold, isn't quite platinum, isn't quite emerald. They like this decisiveness, this map read, because that's what allows you to really get a KO going, What are they going to do when a KO reaches level 11 and they're all level 9? Nothing. They can do nothing. KO is already snowballing very, very well, so. Missed opportunities, and you can see here, you don't want to results-based it, but you could be making this even better for your team. Now we're sitting at base and we're wondering what we should build way too much, which is of course something I really don't like to see at all. You should know what you're building. You see the Warwick on the top side here over the wall. He's level 6 at 10 minutes, 11 minutes. He thinks maybe he can do something against the KO who used their TP very, very well there. Now, the big mistake we made, I've just outlined. I think that was critical in terms of how this game is going to develop and flow. But we're now in the phase of the game where we've done our job. You know, and Warwick has done his job, the number of deaths and ints in the mid lane. And so what happens is now, we can afford to just sequence and control jungle camps and just react a little bit, but not react in a bad way. React in a good way. So, well, he got there in the end. First class travel. We sequence up, we see this, could you shadow? Sure, but you're in here, you're sequencing, you're chilling. RNG Scuttle on the top side, but again, hold these waves. I know we don't get as much juice from it lately, but really, I like holding these waves. Because why give them free gold, you know what I mean? And now we're running at him when it's too late. Lux is TP'd back. Warwick is not going to go to the top side, probably take this top side Scuttle. So, given that we didn't hold it, go here, take this away from him. You know he's going to come up to it afterwards. So go and take his Raptors, chill in the bush. When he face checks, you just kill him. Right? Use your Awaken Q and just absolutely eviscerate him. Yes? I want to see more of this invade that he used at the beginning. And he kind of misses these opportunities and gives the Warwick a few freebies here, like 4.2k gold. Can we all agree that did we just zoom in catastrophically? Why are we zoomed in so much now? Oh, there we go. For coaching, I like to zoom out so we have a bit more perspective, you know? High quality. Now the Warwick is going to get this free Scuttle, no pings, no one's tracking him. He's going to show up against the Kale here, who's going to do the slows and the flashes and avoid the fear. And you're activating this here for some reason instead of here. And now we're going down to counter jungle. This is good. The counter jungling is good. But I feel like we could have had a better scenario where we're getting the Scuttle. We're killing him again in this jungle. We're taking all his camps. We're activating the Herald here and moving on up here. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a lot more we could be doing. And we haven't really done it. But you only have to be better than your competition to get to the next tier. If you play like a gold jungler, you will get to gold. So strive to be a gold jungler. Everything I correct here, if you do it properly, probably gets you 2 to 3 tiers above. But that's why I give you a list of things, right? Because you can decide what you want to work on. In the Warwick's case, I think firstly, you know, learn how to spell your own name. And then we'll go from there at this particular stage. No offense. And sometimes you gotta crack a joke every now and then. Yeah, he's dead, take the dragon. But then you see this down here and you're like, huh, maybe I can gank it first. And I like where his head's at here. Stun this, watch the lantern, obviously sit on the lantern. You can place the ward as well. Beautiful gank first. Now we can cut him for the Hextech Dragon. Obviously here you want to ensure that you got that smite. Go, 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 go. Yes, yes, come on, let's go. Not worried about the Warwick. We're way ahead of him. Just turn and kill him. Just turn and kill him. Turn and kill him. No, 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 no. What are you doing, Warwick? No, you can't come here. Yone is not rotating. Who cares if he's not rotating at all? Just kill him. We'll get there eventually. There you go. You got to use your spells. You got to use your Awaken, and you can't stand still and fight a Warwick like that just blindly. But if you're going to, this is a good build to do it. So we'll get this dragon. Twitch has respawned at this point, so the smite on the Warwick is not so good. Save that for the dragon. Now we're chasing down. I would be very cautious about this and just accept that they're dead. If you can accept that this guy is dead or has made a mistake and you're already doing the whole red side quadrant, you're good, yeah? Just let it happen. Take. Go back to base. Finish your Trinity 4s. Become richer than you could possibly imagine. And go to the top side again. And that means we got this invade thereafter also, because we just took this. So now we could go here and take all of this. And obviously rotate as necessary to whatever fight occurs on the map. Cow goes in. Yona says, thank you, Cow. I can milk those. Lux says I can, you know, make oats with your milk? I don't know. But yeah, Lux, good champion. But now we're pathing in the opposite direction. We let the guy survive. We go here, then we go up to this. We're compromised. We're compromised in a big way. And I think you're seeing a lot of it in this game where the Udyr's kind of taken his hands off when he didn't have to. And that comes with keeping that heightened awareness of your win conditions, where the enemy jungler is. And look, we're 126 to 73 CS. I love it. I love it. And we're 501. He's 471. I love that too. But the fact of the matter is we're only 800 gold ahead of him. And we're still only 800 gold ahead of him, and I hate that. Because you are at 6.6k gold. You know, at 40 minutes, that's where you want to be if you want to 1v9. 6k gold at 14 is like a good metric. So look at your replays. When you 1v9 the game, look at what your gold was at 14. What gold did you leave on the map? What gold did you give to the enemy jungler as well? Because him getting free plates and free kills and free heralds, free scuttles, basically herald, that allows him to stay within touching distance with his cash monies. You know? And that's not what you want to do. So, Udyr shows up here. We're just AFK farming now. I think it's very easy when you play this kind of jungle to get sucked into like, oh, we're winning, I'm just going to farm now. You got to keep your eye on the ball. Like, we're up 2 levels, which is great, but you got to stay with it. There we go, use the shield for the turret. Super nice, super good. HP war is 1. Oh, yo, no, yes, sir. Thank you so much. Nice rotation. Oh, cow. Oh, cow. Focus the turret. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Focus the turret. Get it down. Push the wave. Oh, no, we've been touched by light. Go do the herald. Herald. Go. So HP war is a term I've been using in the private Discord quite a lot in that special content. Basically, you saw there on the top lane, they were all low HP on the red side. Low HP. Do we need to kill them to get what we want now? No. So if I can't kill them, don't waste too much time trying to chase the kill. Know that they have to go back to base. Pull back, and you can easily get a herald in that time. So if you can definitely go and finish them off and win these fights and get the turret and get the herald, of course, do it, which is what we've done here. But in the case that you cannot, no wave, your team also a little bit low, but you're strong, why does the camera keep swapping? Then you go ahead. You go ahead and take the herald yourself, you know? Right. Why is it doing this? Gotta love the camera work sometimes. The tools just bug themselves, literally. Now we're waiting way too long again for itemization. Whatever your build is, I still kind of like the Stride Breaker build, but in these coaching videos, I try to stay away from builds because I want these coaching videos to be really good, you know, in the coming months as well, where builds change and items change and mythics won't exist. Okay, I guess we're directed camera now. Bot lane takes that turret. We catch this wave, which is okay. I mean, it's fine. They're going to go back to base here. I don't think we should overchase. You know, I don't think we need to overchase here. Like, the Yasuo's coming. This wave is pushed in. I would have much rather caught this, taken this, pushed this up a little bit. Yone is dead. We look at the map here. Kayle is still top lane. She's great. We need 4 more levels for 16. They're going to reset now. You know, Lux is here. Can I run at her and kill her? Maybe, maybe not. Is she roaming down bottom lane? I don't know. So I kind of want to wait to see what occurs before I fully commit to this Herald action, because if Lux is rotating, Warwick is here, their bot lane is here, we're facing the wrong direction again, Yasuo's going mid lane instead of coming here, And that's why you want your laners to go where they should be. We could be 4v2 collapse here pretty easily. Lux chose not to, though. And when Yone was dead, there you go, now we're in 4v2. This is the kind of stuff that loses you games. Again, we're just standing still and trying to auto-attack a Warwick, not gonna happen. So now, because we did this, Yasuo goes mid lane. Versus us taking this and going mid lane. Watching this develop, and if they send 4 here, now you, as Udyr here, specifically with this build, if you're playing the Demonics tank build, by default, I do recommend that anyway. You stay mid lane with this build, with the 80 build. Watch, observe, register, activate, and then shove. Take this turret by yourself. You're 80 Udyr, let's go. Cut up and take all of this shit and join the Kayle. Shove this one too. All of a sudden, you got 2 tier 2 turrets because they sent 4 people down in the bottom lane. Why? And what you could have done is also just waited for Yasuo to come, drop the Herald, go mid lane. They all collapse into the Herald, then you shove this, you don't even need the Herald. Another play you could do. There's always different outlets that you can use, but obviously this one was not the best one, yeah. This is a bit disappointing. And then the Yone goes bottom lane and does it as well. And now you're like, my team suck, my team suck. No, it's you. You're dead, you know? You died as well. Ravenous Hydra. Trinity Force Ravenous Hydra. That's okay. I do prefer, as I said, that we kind of stay more default with the Udyr than this kind of hyper-aggression Trinity Force build. I do like the Sterex second as well. I think that's a little bit better sometimes than going Rav here because, like, you look at their comp, sure, it's great versus the Warwick, it's great versus the Volibear, it's great versus the Thresh. But it's not so great versus the Lux and the Twitch, although you can get onto them. They kill the Lux, which is great. We do lose the Dragon, which does suck. That's because of our death. But yeah, itemization-wise, all I would say is, in general, for silver plays, because again, I'm making this generally, not specifically for Udyrs and Warwicks, because the Warwick's itemization is well, it's sick, right? He rushed a Thormail. Why did he rush a Thormail? You know, stick to your core itemization. In this case, for Warwick, get your Tiamat, get yourself a Titanic Hydra. If you're going to play a regular DPS focused build and you want to actually kill people, go your Tiamat, go your Blade of the Ruined King, get your Iceborne Gauntlet. If you want to go Jackshow builds, do that as well. Use your favorite website for data, use Mobalytics, get the best builds and so on, and then just copy those for a little bit until you figure out what they mean, you know? Don't try and audible the builds. No offense, but you don't know enough about your champion or the game to... Like, you're rushing Thormails, right? You're sitting in base for 10 years building Trinity Force Ravenous. Stick to what's working for a little bit. Figure out the limits of that, right? Figure out what's in the box first, and then you can start to cook a little bit. Sometimes, you know, a lot of people just try items for the sake of it instead of just focusing on the champion and the jungle. Itemization should not be something you're thinking about too much. Only really adaptive at the end, like 3rd, 4th, 5th item, you know. Should I get a Randuin's, or should I get a Frozen Heart, or should I get a Thormail? Oh, well, do they have healing a lot? You know, are there a lot of crit people? Do you need to slow attack speed down? And think like that. Same thing for your fighter builds, you know? Do I need Death's Dance? Do I need more? Do I just go Sterex and absorb all? That wasn't meant to rhyme, but it does. In the meantime, we are taking his camps, and we are now chasing into the jungle. You see the damage coming through. A lot of it. Kayle is now 13. My worry is that she's going to keep going until 16, overcommit the split, and die a bunch. So as an Udyr here, your job is to equal that pressure. Try and absorb some of it yourself. Obviously, being on the bottom side here is stupid. Kayle should be here and be able to TP to the Baron. And, you know, if this was me and I was at Warwick and a Tryndamere, I'm taking this right now away from you. I'm watching the map, and I'm just taking this. We're on it, we're on it, we're on it, and it's gone. You just lost the Baron for no reason. Should be what's happening. Now, they have kind of thought about it, like maybe, you know, on bottom side, maybe I'm worried about this Baron. But obviously in silver, they're not going to sneak it away, but Kayle does have a push, so we shadow. And in this case, if you're going to shadow a lot, it's better to go the Demonics build. If you want to split push and exert the macro pressure, then this build is great. Obviously, this build is great for assassination as well. Yone goes in here, Cow's here, we're finishing off the crush, just ditch the Krug, go for the tug, man. Careful, Yone's in the bottom lane. Caution, see, posturing a little bit. Kayle goes into face check a brush because, hey, let's do that one with a Fed Kayle, level 14. Yone's creating pressure here, which is what I feel like we should be doing. So while Kayle's here, we're here, our team is here, so 1-3-1. Put the rest of your team in the middle. And in the meantime, we say, hello. I now have Ravenous Hydra Trinity Force, which is the part we like about that build, and you saw that just absolute shred burst. Twitch is on the back line here, we're not getting rinsed with it. Be cautious as well, again. In and out, observe who's overcommitting. And when your team are dead here, don't die with them. I think that's a very important principle as well. Yasuo is joining though, so I feel like we could have postured a bit more before ditching, but I don't necessarily fault you entirely for thinking this is a bit doomed. But again, it could have changed the fight if you were there. You never need to do, you don't want to do what ifism. Whoa. Downside to that build is your Giga Squishy. So, this should be a free Baron. Morgan Freeman voice. And they did not do the Baron. Minus like 25 octaves, but you know, I can't do anything about that. So in this particular case, okay, guy's out of position. I see the Yasuo collapsing. Maybe I can shadow, maybe we can do something. If you categorically think you cannot do anything, categorically think you cannot win this fight whatsoever, and it's a stupid-ass fight, then what you do is you leave, you take all of this, you sequence all of this, you catch this, you shove this, you give them the Baron, you take the inhib, you accept that trade, or you do this, you take all of this, you shove this all the way up, you force them back, and you disengage, you run away down, ZZ Rot Gaming, go back to base, and now you guys can flex into this or this. So the best thing for the Udyr there was to not rotate at all, because a late rotation is a pointless rotation. He decided that it was doomed and he had to leave. Great. Take. Assess. Do I go top side? Do I keep on sequencing? Do I go bottom side? Like, where can I exert some macro pressure and get a lot of gold? Now, of course, the Lux is chucking... Well, then Windwall does buttons. Dragon's up. We're 5-2-2. Go. Like, this sitting and waiting, like, you could have taken it in the time that you're kind of waiting for them to show up. And obviously, we're afraid of the Lux, which is why you kind of want to start it up, force them to engage, turn, and then kill them. You don't want to wait so long that they get time to set up. And this is the problem with this build right here is you gonna die. Well, we almost didn't die because spells missed on the enemy team, but Kale shows up level 15. You know, like I feel like we could have exerted a lot better macro. He is playing this like an Udyr with Demonic's Embrace tank. You know, with that kind of Udyr is a pick-based Udyr. So they're gonna get the dragon from this. And Udyr, out of base, goes straight for the Baron, which I love. I love it. This is a good call. We've gotten the dead man's there, so not a lot of synergy and atomization, but I still like the Frozen Heart. When you got a Warwick and you got a Twitch. And Frozen Heart's better on Udyr anyway, because of haste. So you definitely want the Frozen Heart in this particular case. Hugely valuable item. We're worried a little bit about the Lux ult, but we're able to... I don't know what's going on with the League Direct, it's pretty awful. Do we just say okay? Right? We just say okay. Okay, cool. Gotta make sure we say okay. The Lux steal is definitely something that's real. But we get it, which is huge. And I like the call. Gutsy call, direct call. We need to make things happen call. Don't let them take your camps at all. Again, not meant to rhyme or match. Kale wants 16. But I do think, even though this has been a really solid game, and we're up 210 CS, this is great. Do you not see where we could have 300 CS almost? Like, we could easily have 300 CS. We should have more macro pressure. And the way we've been playing and pathing, we're not engaged in these fights. Like, why are we farming? Like, we have Baron ready to go. Let's go. Why are we, like, farming when our team is ready to fight and do stuff? You know, and I think disengaging yourself from these kinds of plays is not good. It causes you to stay silver. Because you're either in this fight with the right build, the Demonic's Embrace tank build, right? And you're just absorbing, disrupting, and killing all, which, trust me, you would have done here. Or you're exerting a lot of pressure here with your Kale and other split pushes so that this never happens. And if it does, you're ending the game. But you should not be sequencing down as a damage-focused Udyr, split push-focused Udyr when there's a fight and a wave. You know what I mean? Like, we were never going to get to this wave, which is besides the point, but more about earlier, right? Now we've got a base. We have Baron, so we can hold. We get hooked, obviously. We get flayed. We get stunned. And now we're super not tanky, which is why this build is not good for these kinds of things. And Kale gets ulted by the Warwick because of us. We run way too far away from her. And you could easily lose the game here. That's why I'm saying, like, this build is great if you know the macros. But if you don't know the macros and keep running into them 1v5, this is what happens. So, hopefully you see some of the macro plays we could have made in this game with this build. Hopefully see how the game's not over. Hopefully you see how this build, when executed incorrectly, causes you problems. But we at least hold for a little bit. Alright, now you're on the back foot. Now you're on the back foot, right? So they're going to wave clear and wave clear and wave clear until the next dragon spawn, which will be soul point. There's no... you're going to make sure there's no wards here, so always scan, leave a control ward, because if they got TPs, trust me, people like me are looking for that TP. And if I'm a Rengar jungle, I'm literally probably here already, just going for this, and it's over, so you gotta be very careful about the back doors in these kinds of games. Right, last fight, let's see what happens. See, Udyr just runs in, says, I will assassinate the bear, which he can do, right? But it's a pick-based build, right? It's a pick-based build. You're looking for someone out of position, you annihilate them. You quickly go in, you use your powered awakened Q, and you shred them, right? You absolutely shred them. Problem is, he's going in here using these spells, all right? And it's a 3v1. He's super squishy. So once he's CC'd, it's doomed. You are effectively an assassin Udyr at this point. You gotta play it like that. You gotta just run at people. Better to play tank if you're gonna play like that. So we've taken ourselves out of this fight entirely. Lux ults. Fortunately, the Kale presses the R button. And Kale shows up here. Double knocker for the Yasuo. Kale's now in the backline dishing out the DPS. But is it going to be enough? Well, it is, because the red team decided, hey, let's just keep chasing the Kale. And as I said, oh, poison tick, oh, they heal, and oh, Yone. Yone. Woo, he saved that one for clutch times. Quickly gonna snack this up, gotta watch this super wave, but Udyr should be available. This wave's crashing on the top side, so we are definitely being carried right now. But that's why I told you earlier, hey, if I had done that pathing at 6 to 12 minutes a little better, I can snowball the Kale quicker. She gets 16 first, so I have a bigger lead. There's none of this team fighting setup, and I've created this macro scenario where all I have to do is push. And that's kind of what you're looking for. There is a coaching session in the coaching VOD library about that as well. Now, it seems it will come down to one more fight. Finally decided to get ourselves some MR. Magic resist for the Lux, as well as the hybrid damage of the Volley Baba. Cow goes in. Nice flank by the Cow. Kale is rotating over here. Yone is going onto the Thresher. We're just going to kill the target in front of us, which is great. See, we're running at them like we're a tank. We're just running out of Lux. Like, you can't do And now the Twitch is rinsing us. We're forced to... Whoa, I don't think we needed the ult there, Kale, but if we're forcing our Kale to use ult on us, that's terrible. You know, that's terrible. It's not good for us. So I feel like the Udyr had such an exemplary early and decent mid, but the late has been very, very bad. Bad macro, bad team fighting, bad farming, placement, everything like that. And Kale kills the rat. Warwick was atrocious. Build is still atrocious, actually. This is an old build that we kind of talked about, but you don't need to do this anymore. But we are AD Udyr, so the one thing we can do, as you see, look at this. Yes, hit. Now we could have ended 10 minutes sooner. Just a bit of the same thing, like, this is what you're good at with the champion when you build like this. Understand the difference. So, a lot of stuff that will show you what silver jungling is like. If you fix it, you will be gold. In the next one.